Hello, Rigsers. Welcome to episode 5 of the WRIGS Podcast, the weekly reflection, introspection, gratitude, and sharing podcast. One day late again this week. Just too much on the weekend, and I don't know. Maybe I should make this a Monday thing rather than a Sunday. But we'll see how we go. I guess it's still weekly, whether it's one day or not, but it's now 8:30 p.m. Usually this time I go to bed, and now I am here recording. I wasn't really motivated, but I'm excited to get started. I'm glad I found the discipline to get set up and press the record button. I did not make notes last week about how it went, so still an area I need to improve on, and so I'm gonna do this unscripted again. Just gonna wing it and try to remember how the week went. Pretty much Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday felt pretty low. I think I was very tired from the weekend and the 10-year anniversary party of my gym, obviously from attending, but also from setting up and packing up, and then having a big shift on long and early shift on the Monday. So tired that on Tuesday morning my alarm went off and I just couldn't get up, which is not like me. And actually I did wake up and did my morning routine, but I was almost too early, really too quick, and I thought to myself that I had time to take a nap. So I decided to take a nap, like a half-hour nap, and then my alarm rang again, and I was just like, nah, I just can't. I had to listen to my body. I was just tired. I had a bigger shift than usual on the Monday, which means money-wise I wasn't as pressured to work that Tuesday morning, and that probably influenced it a lot. But I'm glad I did listen to my body, got some rest, although it did bring a little bit of guilt throughout the day because I didn't work. But it was all about trying to remind myself that I needed it and my body needed it. So try not to be too hard on myself and change the perspective that I was judging myself on, instead of thinking I'm a piece of shit because I slept in and I didn't make money. How am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to finance the goals that I have? And that would have been the old me. And even though there's still a little bit of me, that person inside me, in my brain, I was able to turn this and change the perspective into a no, you needed it, you worked hard Monday more than usual, so you're fine financially, it's more secure, and don't be so hard on yourself. You did the right thing, so you are able to push through for the rest of the week. It's very easy to get stuck into that short-term vision, especially when we hate ourselves. But sometimes taking a step back and thinking about long-term goals and achievement can help. And by help I mean just sort of like put things in perspective, right? So it's like if you plant a seed, and you plant that seed and you just go, why did I do that? I've just wasted an hour of my time to plant that seed, and you don't reap anything, but you need to let time happen to see that you've made the right decision. And gratefully this is what happened. I felt a lot better on a Wednesday. So on a Wednesday I was able to do a lot more, move, work, do some chores that maybe I wouldn't have been able to had I pushed through too hard on a Tuesday, on that morning. I think I was still a lot down because my back was still very sore. I couldn't train properly. Just didn't want to. It always feels like it's going to be like this forever whenever I get an injury. But on Wednesday I had an appointment with the osteopath, which was helpful. So it's still not 100%, but I've been able to move and train since the appointment. I have to scale things and do things differently, but at least I am moving, which is good for my brain. Otherwise I feel like I'm just going like a blob and wasting my life away, even when I'm not. So silly, but it's in human nature, I think. Maybe I'm too perfectionist. But the appointment was good. He's pretty confident that we can get all this resolved within a couple of appointments. So I'm looking forward to that, and it's giving me a goal and something to focus on, rather than not knowing what's going on and how long I'm going to be quote unquote disabled and not being able to train or move, or having to be careful every time I pick something off the floor, etc. So there's some work to do, but I'm glad and I'm grateful for my doctor who's been able to help me. I guess this is a gratitude practice, and it also helps me realize that sometimes we take things for granted. So the ability to move freely and to pick things off the ground or put your clothes on without any pain is not something we normally think of. But when this is taken away from us, that's when we realize how important it is. And so that's a pretty good reminder, humbling reminder that I'm pretty lucky to be able to do the things that I do at my age. Not that I am old, but compared to a lot of people my age, I'm probably a lot more able than the average Joe. That's my age. So grateful for the choices that I've made in my fitness and health journey. And from Wednesday onwards as well, I've heavily reduced my social media usage, trying to focus on me, not compare myself to others, etc. So cutting short on social media. Usually every time I do some sort of detox, it's always very helpful, and it proved it again. But it's always the same. I feel much better, so I go on social media, and then that feeling creeps back again, and then in 6 months I'll have to do some sort of detox again. This kind of love-hate relationship with it. I'm sure I'm not the only one, and I'm sure you can relate to this. And it's funny because I almost completely deleted the app Instagram for short level, like just a few days. And then there was these voices in me that was saying, but what if something important happened and you want to share it to the world? What if someone wants to reach out to you and you don't have the app, etc. And it's hard because if someone really wants to reach out to you, then they'll find a way. There's other apps to get through to me. But I couldn't convince myself to do it. I just felt like, nah, if something great happens in my life, I need to show it to the world, which it's kind of like me trying to convince myself that my life is good. That my life is only good if I'm able to share on socials, which is silly, obviously, when you say it like this, but it's really that feeling that I've got. So I guess I'm not ready to delete it yet because it can be helpful. But being aware of how detrimental it can be is a big step already, and noticing when your mental health is going down. How can I word this? When I notice that my mental health is going down, sometimes it's hard because the only thing I want to do is connect with people, but I usually do it the wrong way. I overshare and over stories and comments, and try to connect through my phone, through a device, which never works. People are busy, they don't always look at their phone, or they always do, but they don't always have time / want to reply, or maybe they don't get what you're trying to say. This time I've actually reached out to people, wanted to caught up with a friend on a Wednesday evening. Actually didn't feel like being home alone that night, so that was probably my lowest point of the week. But they weren't available. But what happened is they said, how about tomorrow? Which is the best thing a friend can tell you when they're not able. I've had so many occurrences where I've reached out to someone and they go like, oh, sorry, I can't, because of probably very valid reasons. But this particular friend said, how about tomorrow? And that shows that these people care about you and care about the time that you want to put in them. It's a good indicator of how genuine someone with you. And if they offer a solution to a problem that, not that they created, but that arose, they don't leave you hanging. And when they offer you to reschedule, that usually means that the intent is genuine and they do appreciate your time, company, whatever it is that you guys do together. So yeah, pretty grateful for Thursday because that was my first day back training. I did catch up with that particular friend afterwards. We're just a coffee, just talked about life, nothing in particular, just told stories about some of their friends. I told stories about some of my friends, and we just had a yarn, and it's just human connection. It gave me a sense of belonging, and a sense of my self-worth went up a little bit, and for that I'm grateful for that particular friend for organizing that. On Friday I had a dinner at my friend's, something I do regularly, and they're flying away next week or this week when I'm recording. So it's the last time I'm going to see them for a little while. Normally we catch up every 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm probably not going to see them for 5 to 6 weeks, I'd say, just to let them time when they come back to settle from the holidays. So again, grateful for human connection and the friendship that I've made, and these are friends that I've met 9 years ago here in Australia, and it's looking back, it's just I'm just grateful for them. There was a point in time, I think, where we were all not trying, but life was making us going sort of separate ways. But I think we all made efforts. I've made efforts to try and reach out as much as possible, even when I was feeling really down. And lately, they've put a lot of effort into me. This time last year, we were hanging out for the first time in a while, and I was probably not at my best. And they offered to catch up regularly, to come to their place and have dinner we started on every Friday, but we quickly realized it was too much, so every 2 to 3 weeks. And we've been able to maintain that. Sometimes there's a little bit longer between catch-ups, but I go there and they cook dinner for me, and it's just lovely, and we just catch up on life. And again, we don't talk about anything in particular, but it's just that sense of belonging. That again is something I had lost a few years ago. whenever I got here in Australia, I built a new life, and up until 2019, I felt like a strong sense of belonging. I had great friends. We all worked together. I had a girlfriend. Everyone was getting along. Life was just great. And then I changed job, which created this gap between my friends and I. I wasn't seeing them as much. Obviously, COVID happened the same for everyone, even though we had it pretty good here in WA. But then broke up with my ex, and I broke up, and I felt like I had no friends. I had a lot of mates, but no one I could really talk to, etc. And that's probably also what drove me to depression. So I feel like I'm repeating myself, but that sense of connection is really, really valuable for me, and probably for you too. You can text however much you want to. It doesn't replace physical contact. Even Zoom, like a voice, FaceTime or Zoom or whatever video you use, is better, because you can tell these people are taking time out of their day to look at you and spend quality time with you, but nothing replaces the in-person contact. You could have the same conversation over text. You have this conversation over text, and then if you do it on a Zoom call, on a FaceTime, that conversation takes you there. But if you go in person and have the exact same words, the exact same conversation, exchange the exact same ideas, you feel here because of that human connection. So don't minimize the small interactions that you have with your friends, even if it's someone that you see once a week for 5 minutes or once a week for half an hour. Be grateful for that, because if you lose that, you realize how important it was to you. And if it's not important to you, then just cut it short, because you're wasting their time and your time. So meaningful connections and quality time with your friends, family, whoever that is. Phones off, walk in nature, just watch TV together. This helps your sense of belonging. It certainly does for me, and I'm making an effort to do more of that. So much on the Saturday, after coaching in the morning, some of my members invited me to join them because they were going to the beach. I'm saying my members, some of the members from the gym invited me to hang out with them at the beach. And again, it might feel like something very small, but it means the world to me. Whenever I've got this little voice that says nobody likes you, or I see a group of people that's hanging out together, and I feel like I should have been invited and I wasn't for whatever reason, there's always this little voice that says, see, no one likes you, they're better off without you, they're doing that thing without you. It's constantly nagging at you. It's gonna win. If you let it, it's gonna win. So make the effort. Try to reach out to your friend. Obviously, I felt so good that these people reached out to me and were like, we're going to the beach, do you want to come with us? I was very grateful for it. We went there, we had a great quality time. It was maybe just an hour and a half or 2 hours, but phones off, chat, obviously sun and vitamin D, which helps. But yeah, another friend as well was, I had a bit chat, asked if I wanted to go to having breakfast, but I was working, unfortunately. But I ended up seeing them at the beach anyway, so that friend who invited me to breakfast and the person who invited me to the beach, I texted them in the evening, and I was just like, thank you so much. It might seem like nothing to you, but it's helping me a lot, because especially lately, my sense of worth has been pretty low. I've had pretty low self-esteem about me, and my sense of belonging was also quite low, probably because I work too much. Like, some of this is on me. So them reaching out and offering, I'm just very grateful for it, and I feel like people should know about that. If someone does something nice, or if you feel like someone has done something nice for you, even if it seems like nothing, just tell them, because they will feel good about knowing they did something nice. And if they know that you like it, they might be inclined to do it more as well, because they can't guess if you don't tell them, quite simply. The Sunday, I went to the beach again with some other friend, and Sam again, just I think 4 of us, including me, and just quality time, couple of hours, lots of sun. Went for lunch. Doesn't seem like much, but it just jumpstarts the day, to just makes the rest of the day a lot better, because I've already have that quality time in the morning, then early afternoon, and it gave me the motivation. Once we got back home, I would have been very inclined to just watch TV until the end of Sunday, but I don't know, there was this little voice in me that said, no, Monday, back to work on Monday, so do stuff. And so I went working, which is not great, but I had an opportunity for money, and it was better than watching TV. It worked out fine. I did a bit of chores beforehand. I then called my family on half of our family on Saturday and the other half on Sunday. And this again, I hadn't called in like 3 weeks, maybe a month, which is too long. Just time went off and I didn't realize. So just calling them was just, it's that sense of connection again, isn't it? So it's definitely something I need to do more and try to practice more and hang out with people. Even when I feel like I want to rest and I want to watch TV. Yes, I want to watch good movies and whatever and shows, but that sense of connection is more important. So when I feel, especially when you feel down, you can tend to isolate yourself, because you don't want people to know that you're down. But that's when you know you need to reach out. Which leads me to, I guess, the last, I want to say highlight, but it's not a highlight, important moment of my week. I have a friend who messaged me on Sunday evening asking me if I was able to go for a walk and a chat, because they really needed a chat. And luckily I was free, and I was like, yeah, I just have this thing later on, but I've got about an hour and a half free if you want. And we met up, and the first thing that happened when we saw each other is that person hugged me and they cried. And it reminded me of me so much a few years ago, not even a few years ago, but how it could have been, and how I never had that person, potentially because I never had the courage to reach out to someone and say, I'm not having a good day. But they did. I'm really glad they did. We just went for a walk and we talked about life. They're having self-esteem issues. I just feel like it just feels like looking in a mirror. I feel so sorry for them, because I understand everything that's going through their heads. I might not know it, and I might have been to something more or less different, but the overall feeling of inadequacy is the same. And seeing it, I had this mix of emotion of feeling really sorry for them, being really empathetic, and I wanted to do everything I could to help them. But I also have this big smile on my face, because I've been through it, and I'm okay now. I'm not perfect, but I'm okay, and I came out stronger, and I know they will too. They're smart, they're aware, they're resilient, and I know they'll be okay. And I'm just grateful they reached out, because I know I'm so happy I could help. Um, Even if it's just a shoulder to cry on, someone to have a chat to. Obviously, I've got a bit of history, experience that I could pass on and give my 2 cents. Just help them realize that they're not alone in their feeling how they feel. Happens to everyone, happens to the best of us, happens to the worst of us. We all go through our bad days. Unfortunately, sometimes they last longer, but reach out, human connection. It's going to be the theme of the week. And I also think, like, what's sort of like funny is I was considering getting Instagram out of my phone, and if I had done that, I would not have seen the message from that person, because they reached out on Instagram. So yeah, it was a solid hour of talking, and like, that person messaged me later on, and they said that they felt better just talking to me, and they were so grateful. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that you can be that person for someone. You might be in the same situation as my friend, and so my advice is to reach out to someone. We're not that close, but they just said that they really wanted to talk to someone, and I was the first person that came into their mind. I guess I'm advocating a lot for mental health, etc., so maybe that's why. But even sometimes reaching out to someone you don't know that well would be beneficial. We need to talk it out. You need to talk your issues out. If you internalize everything, it's only going to make it worse. Ideally, if you have a friend, it's great. But even if you got someone that you don't know that much, but you know is a good person, I know it can sound difficult, but having the courage to say, I'm not in a great place and I really need a chat, it's the hardest thing in the world, but you'll be grateful you did it. So just human connection, just reach out whenever you have something going on. If you're watching this and you know me personally, please know that you can always reach out. I'm not always available, but like my friend did to me, if I'm not available, I'll make my best to be available for you as soon as possible. If we've never met and you just watch me on internet, send me a DM on this platform, whatever you're watching. You never know. At the time of recording, it's not like I'm popular, so I'll happily reply. But yeah, find someone, reach out, talk about your problems, what's going on in your life. Do it, it's very helpful. And that was the week. Yeah. So as mentioned, the biggest point was human connection. It literally turned my week around. I was from having Monday, Tuesday, pretty much didn't see anyone on a personal level. I say this because I'm a coach. I see people going in and out the gym all the time, and you interact for an hour, but it's not. These people are there for them, for their health and fitness, and not for me, which is obviously okay. But all it took was about an hour on Thursday, about 2 hours on Friday, an hour and a half on Saturday, an hour and a half on Sunday with my friend. In the evening, it was only 45 minutes for them to feel better. So turn Netflix off, put your phone down, go for a walk. I know it's hard, but reach out to someone you know and you trust. And if you don't have anyone you know or trust available, go on Reddit, I don't know. Like, you'd be surprised. Just externalize your problem. Don't think you're the only one in the world having that issues, because I guarantee you someone will have the same issue as you and will be able to give you some insight of how they got better. And you will get better. So thank you for listening to me on that 5th episode. I'm glad I did this. I was really close not to do that episode this week, and thinking, oh, nobody will know, or if I do it tomorrow, it's okay, it's a day behind. But I've done something that's good for me, and I've been able to reflect on my week and express gratitude, and I feel a lot of gratitude for this week, and I'm already feeling a lot better just in those, 31 minute solitude. I'm not even talking to someone. Time of recording, no one's watching this, so I'm talking to myself really, but even externalizing this is making me a lot better. So reach out to your friend, reach out to your close one, your loved ones, your family, maybe even a work colleague. And if you think one of your friends is not doing too good, reach out to them. It might change their life, you never know, but it's probably going to change their day. So be kind to one another. Spread love. So that's it for this week. I've got nothing more. Thank you for watching the WRIGS Podcast. I'm doing this for me, but I'm glad it can help you. See you next week.